Hey everybody, it's Kirsten with Big Daddy's Barbecue. I am out here today with Nick, our pitmaster, kitchen manager. We'll figure it out extraordinaire. Because that's the running joke here is that if we don't know what we're doing, we just say, we'll figure it out. And then Nick usually sighs and goes, okay,
let's figure it out. That's how it always comes down.
And then we get there, pretty much. So as you guys know, I just wanted to kind of come on here and introduce Nick and let you guys all know that he's doing a fantastic job to make sure that not only the quality of the meat stays the same, but also that you're going to have a great Big Daddy's experience. He is the guy behind making sure the food is prepped, cooked, ready for the next day. And while some restaurants can kind of have a little bit of an easier adjustment in that respect, our stuff takes 14 to 16 hours to cook. So it's super imperative that we know that the guy behind the line and in front of the smoker knows what he's doing. So without further ado, we'll kind of chat a little bit with Nick, get to know him, and you can tell us kind of how you wandered into Big Daddy's and why are you still here?
So I started here just as a normal line cook, doing fries and cutting meat and all the really simple stuff, and slowly learned every little aspect of the kitchen, prep-wise, cooking-wise, plating-wise. And after going through a whole nother restaurant and then coming back here, officially now completely taking everything over. Yeah. That's the plan.
For world domination.
Yeah, gonna take over.
So you got to work with Haas a ton. What was your initial reaction to meeting him?
So honestly, probably first year that I worked here, never directly worked with Haas. He was always too busy doing whatever he was doing, coming up with new ideas, coming up with new things to get the restaurant expanded. So my first day working with Haas was on Father's Day, one of our busiest days of the year, and none of my cooks showed up. So me and him got to get on the line, just do everything. And anybody and everybody that came in, we had a full restaurant. It was just me and Haas taking over that whole situation, and him coming over to Fairview, not really doing anything on the line. It was almost like his first day too over there. So we were both over there just trying to get it done and figuring it out. That's how it always works.
I remember that day. That was rough. That was interesting for you guys because you worked a lot with Jason, who had directly learned from Haas. And so you were definitely working a little bit more hands-on with Jason. And Haas, he was in the background just making sure that we had the right recipes, we had the right product. He was making sure that everything was kind of running overall. So to see them kind of on the line together with Haas, who is a little bit hot-headed if you knew him at all, that was fun. But you held your own. You did really good.
That was the day he definitely saw my value in this company and told me that day. And he'll never let that go under the table. If he shows or if he appreciates you, then he's going to let you know it. And that's another big thing why I'm still here. That appreciation value is above and beyond for me.
Man, a few words, but when he finally said something, you listened. That's for sure.
That was another year of me not saying anything, being the quiet, timid guy sitting in the corner.
Right.
And now I'm talking and yelling every single day.
That is true. Nick, I'm not going to lie. When he first got hired, I was like, I don't know, you guys. He's a little quiet. But he's made it. He's opened up. He's become his own guy. And he's definitely found his footing within the Big Daddy style in the company. Can you tell me a little bit more about when you finally did get to start working with Haas on a day-to-day basis and learning from him? What would you say is like the number one takeaway? You might have 3 or 4, but what was like the number one thing that you felt like he added the most value to your skills and to your life in this job?
Definitely quality of meats. When I first got here, I had no idea about how to smoke anything, how to barbecue anything. I knew I liked meat. I know that it tasted good, and he showed me a whole nother world of barbecue and meat. Just little things like how to cut brisket, how to cut tri-tip. There's certain ways and angles that you go about it that makes the product that much better. What to be looking for with your brisket and stuff, all of your smoke rings or what they call bark.
That's definitely, I think, an extensive part of the training, whether you're front of house or back of house, is we try really hard to make sure that everyone's as educated as possible on the cuts of meat and what exactly it is we're selling, because barbecue hasn't always been super popular, especially not the smoking process. So we've kind of taken it upon ourselves, I would say, at Big Daddy's to like kind of educate the customer base and our employees so that everyone kind of knows what's going on. What would you say you've come to love the most about the smoking process and meat in general?
I mean, to be honest, that first test of anything coming out of the smoker, making sure it's good quality meat, is to die for. Like, right when it comes out of the smoker, it's unexplainable.
So would you
Like,
say that's like your number one job perk, is that you get to eat meat right
that's
off the smoker every
definitely
morning?
the best perk of it. Pitmaster privileges, if you really want to call it that.
There you go. I like that. Here, what are you excited to learn and kind of take the knowledge he gave you and apply?
Definitely wanting to do what he was doing with me and any of the other management that's been around. I want to be able to apply that knowledge to be able to train somebody else so they can get that knowledge. Just kind of keep that information going.
It's definitely one of those things that I think to become a pit master, it's not just like a 6-week course and then all of a sudden you're qualified. It's very much something that takes years and years of practice. And I mean, you're 2.5 years into your education, I guess we could say,
Yeah,
of barbecue.
exactly.
And there's so much you know already. So what are you most excited to learn moving forward?
One thing I would like to try would be the burn ends that were here a lot. I've heard nothing but good things. We've tried them a couple times while I worked here, and that's definitely something I want to be able to try and do and pull off with the same success that Haas pulled off.
Stay tuned. Burn ends. Maybe they'll be coming on the menu. That's going to be your little adventure. Okay,
Little
you made a
adventure.
promise to the
It's-
fans. So
I know.
what would you say that we do the best at, whether it's in barbecue or business or really anything? Like, what makes you passionate to keep going with Big Daddy's?
The biggest thing with Big Daddy's is the environment here. The fact that I can come in here and talk to anybody about anything that happened, whether it's front of house, back of house, server, dishwasher, we all communicate with each other. We all care about each other. And in the end of the day, we're all looking out for each other. And without that, this would be a really hard place to work at, honestly.
There's so much, and let me elaborate on that for you a little bit. It definitely, environment makes a difference. We were just talking today about how our front of house and back of house have such good cohesion and how we're able to communicate so effectively. And we know that a lot of other restaurants, I mean, you've worked at least a dozen other restaurants. I've obviously grown up in this one, and I've worked in a couple different places, but not necessarily restaurants. So for me to hire people and bring them in and hear all the horror stories about how back of house and front of house just don't communicate, for us to be able to create that environment where people really can get to know each other and lean on each other regardless of our station in the restaurant, I think that is so important.
Definitely.
And I love that that's something that you look forward to every day, because I think we've all tried really hard to make sure that that's a possibility.
Yeah.
And you don't see that everywhere.
Yeah, we've all definitely put in more than enough effort to try to make that happen.
Yeah.
If they come in and they're expecting it to be front of house versus back of house, they're usually very confused near the end of the day. They're like, why is everybody helping each other? Why is everybody getting stuff for each other? It's because we are all looking out for each other here. We're all a big family, and
it definitely makes it easier, especially with the sheer amount of, I would say, the demand of product and quality. Like I was saying earlier, all of our stuff takes anywhere between 12 to 16 hours to cook. So, I mean, you're talking about a very high pressure, high stakes environment that if you do happen to mess up the cooking time, and not you specifically, but in general, if you do happen to mess that up, you're looking at thousands and thousands of dollars going down the drain, because it just, you can no longer utilize it. So the fact that Nick is able to facilitate all of that product and stress and still be able to create a quality product, it's honestly quite incredible, and it's really impressive. And Nick has done a really good job at learning what he needs to make sure that those steps are being followed correctly, so that we can continue to provide quality service and product for you guys. So I gotta ask, if someone was to cook a brisket for you, what is something that you would hope they'd pay attention to?
for me personally, all I'm really looking for is internal temperature. As long as internal temperature is hitting 185, the cuts on the brisket are going to be perfect.
I feel like a lot of cooking is like that, actually, where it's the process in itself is so simple, but you can still mess it up. What is one specific item that you love to make yourself that really combines all the flavors together?
So what I usually do is kind of like a prime rib taco. So I'll just explain how I make it.
Yeah,
It's just going to be a tortilla with Monterey Jack cheddar cheese melted on the tortilla. I chop up some prime rib very fine, and then I cook it up in the sweet heat sauce that we have. Kind of glazes it over. Put those directly onto the tacos, and then we'll put a crispy onion straw on top of that, and a little drizzle of sweet sriracha bourbon sauce. And I will eat that every single day too.
He does. And it's gotten to the point where if he's making tacos, he knows he has to ask me if I want some, because I will eat his tacos if he doesn't make me any.
Right.
They are honestly so good. Don't look for them on the menu anytime soon, but it definitely shows that Nick has the ability to be creative, utilize these flavors, kind of combine them all together, and provide new menu items eventually down the road. What is something you're most excited about to utilize in the smoker?
One thing that I would really like to try, and one thing I know that a lot of pitmasters have and haven't done, would be a whole hog. If I could successfully cook myself a whole hog, I'd feel very confident in calling myself a pitmaster, expert, whatever you want to call it.
Okay. No, I think that's a good goal. I don't know if we can get it in this one, but
Right.
we'll definitely
It'd be
get
a
it laid
small
out.
whole hog, but that would be my goal, would be to
Yes.
smoke a whole hog. That sounds like it'd be really fun to do.
It is fun to watch and to eat, so maybe we'll have to learn together.
Right.
All right, you guys, this is Nick. Thanks so much for watching today. If you have any questions, leave them down there. We'll get back to you. Otherwise, come on in, have some great food, and we'll see you next time. What is something you're super excited about to smoke? Just, what are you, I didn't ask my question right. Extraordinaire.
I'd be mad if I don't fix this little hair sticking up over there.
My little flippies.
Go ahead.
I like
Start
my
over.
flippies. That's the goal. I'm a normal steak seasoning guy.
Yeah, sorry, I'm like watching
Oh,
you.
you're
I was
good.
like,
I'm
"Ugh, my hands
all
are-"
playing with myself. But you're
was like,
good.
"Ugh,
I'm
my hands
all
are-"
playing with myself.